crack up,
and then open the drink. Okay, 1, 2, 3.
One morning, he had a rule that I had to make my bed before I go to the bathroom. Right? Before, that's the first thing you do in the morning. You go to the bathroom, you come back, you make your bed, and then my bed had to be made before I left to go to school, period. Okay? Uh-huh. But he made up some BS because I didn't make my bed before I went to the bathroom. We're not going. Wow. And I said to him, Dad, let's be honest. We weren't going anyway. And he was like, well, you never know. I'm like, no, I know.
You already knew.
I already knew. So I think it, for me, I'll if I have the means, I'm going to go to a sporting event. And yes, I want Nick to have those memories.
We had to pay Riker $20 to find out when it actually was like the first initiate. So he found out it was from a show where we were starting the show, we were doing our intros, and my brother-in-law, UK Steve, who's been on the show a few times, he cracked a drink, and Alex said, okay, crack him if you got him. And it was just like this off saying that Alex did. And literally, I think from that moment, anytime someone cracked a drink, we all just started to say, which naturally is kind of what the three of us will do. Like if someone says something that sounds somewhat catchy,
we'll repeat it. We'll just repeat it. And that just kind of, and it's fun. It's fun. Not only is it fun to drink, it's fun to when you crack a drink open. So it just sticks. It naturally sticks when you do it. So it was a total off the cuff. It was never planned. Wage A just basically said it one time. And then I think even the next show, someone else might've said it. And then it just kind of stuck.
Yeah. And a pair of football pants that were just plain white that I had to paint the green stripe on the side. Literally, I taped it and spray painted the green paint on the side with like a color, like a clothing color dye. Right. And I go down there and I'm at the game 3 hours early.
Okay.
Because I don't know if they're going to let me in with the shoulder pads. I've never done this before. So I'm at the game 3 hours early. They let me into the stadium. And I'm in my seat. And for the 3 hours before game time, I'm going nuts. I am like, you see me all the time.
Yeah. Uncles. I come from a big musical family, man. So I'm not sure if you ever heard of Rudy Love and the Love Family. If you ever listen to American Gangster, the soundtrack, right? There's a song by Jay-Z and it's called Sweet. And you hear like dun 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 dun. That's my uncle, my great uncle Rudy on the guitar. So they sampled Kanye West and Jay-Z sampled my family's old song and put it on the album. So back then, like that was just like the pinnacle, music, man. So I come from a musical background. So I was raised by my uncles, my aunts, my grandma, cousins, and everything. But I didn't meet my dad, so I was like 26, 27, something like that. So
since about 1988.
Since 88. So what led you to opera?
Well, believe it or not, I went into college and I wanted to be a professional contemporary Christian artist because, man, I loved all the singers back then. Larnell Harris was one of my favorite singers of all time. He sang with the Gaither Vocal Band. And, man, I'll tell you, I get there to college and the opera director there, he's like, you got too good a voice to be singing contemporary Christian art. And I said, okay. He goes, you need to be singing opera. He's from Tennessee and he's got the hit of the deep. I don't know, but so he talked me into it. I didn't know anything about opera.
Because if we match, then it's part of, mom's family. So if we're someone who don't match with us, because she already took the test, right? So whoever don't match will know that's from my dad's side of the family, right? So Terry was the first one that my sister didn't have. So bam, I found my aunt. So my wife, being the investigator that she is, boom, hit Facebook, hit Google, bam, 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 bam. Found my Aunt Terry's Facebook page. So we reached out. Hey, my name's Michael Sanchez. I'm looking for my dad. Do you know what Jeremy? She goes, you know what's crazy? She goes, I have a brother named Jeremy that that's from California. I don't know him well. He just found our dad when he was about 30.
Wow. You know, I spoke, I preached, I wrote a book on Christianity. It's on Amazon right now. It's called Chase the Whisper. And I had the opportunity to talk about that book for a long time. And, you know, it's a part of my life. And I, you know, I don't think we all have to go to church to be religious, but I think if it's just a part of your life and your morals and your values, I think that's important. You know, treat others as you want to be treated.
You just dropped another bomb. You are an author. You've written a book.
I have, yes.
how many cowboy content creators say that they actually written and published a book? Not me.
Yeah, there we go.
So was she the ride or die in the family, bro?
Oh yeah, that's the rock. That's the heartbeat, and soul, backbone, all whatever you could think of. That's who she was. That's who she is right now. You know, so we all leaned on her. She helped us grow, taught us, you know, as much as you can, especially with boys growing up. You know, raising boys, a mother can only teach you so much. But what she did teach us, we took that. We you know, she helped us mold ourselves and get us on the right track to where, like you said, sometimes. You don't go the way you want to go as far as like your life. Like your life, maybe depending on circumstances, you go left or right. I feel like she kept us on the right path, and that's all you can really ask for. You know, raising 3 boys and a girl, it's only so much you can do. But I feel like she did more above and beyond what she could have. So we thank God for her every day. Like I said, that's my rock. That's our rock. We try our hardest to keep on, you know, making her proud as much as we can. And that's what we do day to day, man.
Got involved with that wrong crowd. You know, he told me, you know what, he said, you're going to be involved in this and this just, you know, learn how to make money and don't be stupid out there.
So he never tried to discourage you, huh? It was like, hey, if you in it, you in it now, huh?
If you in it, just be smart about it.
Right. Now, the question was, were you smart about it?
I wasn't. I was, you know, you young, you dumb, you think you got money and you have, you know, you want to show off and here and there, you know, like I guess how we always say, if we knew now, or if we knew then what we knew now, man, we'd be billionaires, man. But you know, we didn't. You know, we were young and dumb and trying to be flashy back in the days, and you know, so it was always trying to be cool, and you know, we had it, so. It was always like that.
Yeah. So the flashiness got you caught up on with other things and stuff like that. So did it ever just get you where you had to do some college life?
I did, big fella. I did do some college life. So I never graduated. I actually graduated from the School of Hard Knocks, right? But
Cowboys.
All right. Welcome to Conversation with Chris, man. Today is going to be a fun one, okay? I know a lot of America's team, the persona is, hey, man, we're all over America, man. We got fans everywhere, but man, I'm going to have to prove you wrong, okay? Because we got a member of the World's Team podcast. It's my man, Paul Stewart. What's up, Paul?
I'm doing great, brother. How are you doing? All right?
Hey, man, I am doing awesome, bro. I am doing awesome, man. I've been excited about this one all week. I've been excited about this one all week, man. I know, man. I want to tell a backstory about how I found UK Cowboys, okay? I was just at the house. I was working from home, and I was on Facebook. You know how you're supposed to be working, but you got your Facebook page.
We've opened there.
So you got your Facebook page open and everything, and then I follow a lot of cowboy content and everything like that on Facebook. So then all of a sudden, your show popped up. And I was like, UK Cowboys. I was like, what's this about? So I clicked on it. I say, okay. I said, everybody on here got an accent. I said, I said, they're not from America. I was like, okay. I said, so dude, I was captivated after that. I was like, okay. So then I said, let me see if they know what they're talking about. Because that's just like me going and somebody start asking me about Premier League soccer or football. I'd be like, I have no clue. I know the major players, but I have no clue. But then I was like, let me see if they know what they're talking about. And dude, it just hit me on the floor, and I was just like, they know football. They're just not talking for, you know how you can watch some podcasts or some people on TV and they're just talking heads. They're not.
Yeah, I think the best example is like Stephen A. Smith talking about MMA or something like that. Like yes, because I remember one day where I think it was the McGregor and Donald Cerrone fight, and Stephen A. Smith was there with Joe Rogan talking about what he perceived in the fight, and I can remember Joe Rogan looking at him as like, "What the hell are you talking about?" Like he had no clue. He had no business like talking what in that realm of sport. Like it's blows my mind.
So that's what got me, right? So I was hooked. So I hit the old subscribe button. Bing, I'm subscribing. So then I heard you guys said, "Hey, we're coming to America. We're going to these games," and I shot you a message. I said, "Hey man, if you guys get in town, man, come sign my wall, blah blah blah." And I was hooked on the UK Cowboys ever since. You came to America, we met, and we've been buddies ever since.
Yeah. So I don't know if you remember this, but do you remember the first time when we actually first met? It was just by coincidental. It was on the corner of North Collins, right?
Yes, right in front of the stadium.
Yeah, right in front of the stadium, right? And I was walking with Jay Tucker, our good friend Jay Tucker at the time, and I think Starboy was there as well. And literally, it's like, and you were like, Paul, I was like, yes. Then we hugged it out, and I was like, it was awesome. Right? And ever since then, we always kept in tabs. It's like, you need to come over to my place, sign my wall, and I was like, don't you worry. And obviously, I came by myself, came over, met some of your friends. We had a great time, just talking away. I thought we must have talked about a good couple of hours, had a good couple of beers, and I was like, we need to bring the rest of the guys over, and we did that last year. So it went full circle there, which was great,
dude. It was so much fun because I remember that day because it's rare you find a needle in a haystack when it's 100,000 people at a Cowboy game, and then you run into Paul Stewart from Scotland just out of nowhere. I was just like, Paul.
You be fair though, Chris. I was wearing my kilt, so I was pretty obvious who it was.
hey man, I'm gonna tell you a quick secret. I got 2 kilts. I got 2 kilts, and I used to wear them a lot, and I wore them just because of that shock and awe in America. You don't hardly ever see guys in kilts, especially a black man in a kilt, right? I got so many compliments, man. First of all, he said, man, this one guy said, man, first of all, you got to be very confident with yourself to wear a kilt. Number one. Yeah. I said, then he said, number 2, you look good in it. I was like, well, thank you. I'm half Scottish. I tried to let him know, but I wasn't born nowhere close to Scotland, but
honestly, there was almost a point where I stopped wearing. I was going to stop wearing the kilt to games because of the attention it was getting, like for the bad reasons. Because you would get some random people, not just women but men also, trying to lift up my kilt to see. Right. In tradition, you're not supposed to wear any underwear underneath it. That's the tradition. Right. And they was like, "Oh, we want to know if you're a true Scotsman by lifting it up." And I'm like, "Dude, you do realize that's like an essay, like a assault? You're
sexual assault."
Like, so I'm just like, should I just stop wearing it because just so I can actually just focus on the game and that? Because obviously, I still want to represent my country, my origins and stuff like that. But it was good when there was a group of us last year. It kind of made it a bit more like better. So. It was good. So I'm going to continue on wearing the kilt, but I just hope it doesn't kind of lead up to more random people just try and lift it up. It got a little bit annoying. I'm not going to be lying to you, man.
Well, that was more alcohol induced. The more.
Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, because every time I worn mine, it was always in a setting where it was a casual setting. It wasn't too much alcohol going on. But
it's so true though. Wait, I don't know if I told you this story, right? So I was in New Orleans for the Cowboys Saints game back in 2021. And I was there with my friends from Houston, and it was after the game. Cowboys just won, absolutely wiped the floor of the Saints, and we were the loudest in that whole stadium. Like that whole stadium where it says the amplify meter tells you how loud you are.
Yeah.
I was screaming lies. I'm even louder than these fans, right? And it was just like, but anyway. But after the game, as we're walking down, I saw two Saints fans dressed up as like priests and stuff like that, and I thought, oh cool, I wonder if they might grab a wee photograph, like me being what I'm wearing and see what they're wearing. One guy was really cool. The other guy was that pissed up drunk. He tried to lift up my kilt, and I was like, whoa, what are you trying to do? He says, oh, I'm Scottish too. I'm like, I'm sorry, but if that's a terrible like excuse. If you're Scottish and you know that, like you should know fine better not to lift a person's kilt, because that's it's like it's really disrespectful in a way. So and it almost blew up to a whole fist fight in New Orleans. So then my friend from Houston, my friend Tracy, who's one of my closest friends, he's known him since 2017, and he does everything for me. He came in and Tracy's not a guy you want to mess with, but he just came in and just like with that, but it's like Paul, back off a bit, because if I get into trouble, that means I would not be able to travel back to the US ever again. So and I want to make sure that never happens. So so he did it all for me and just calm the situation down and tell him to F off essentially. But yeah, it's been a weird couple of incidents with the kilt.
I would be very disappointed when I see you again at a game and you don't have the kilt on. I would be very disappointed.
Don't worry. I'll be there. Like I'll be there for the Houston Texans Cowboys game this year, and I'll be wearing my kilt. Don't you worry.
Okay. All right. That's all I care about. That's all I care about. Well, hey man. Well, let's get into this conversation with Chris, man. We're gonna talk about you, man. We're gonna find out a lot. I mean, because there's a lot of things people don't know. Okay. Just like when we did the pre-game show last week, people didn't know that you had a documentary about the Cowboys, but we're gonna get into that a little later. Okay, so let's get, man. You were born June 6th of 1986, right?
Yeah.
And when we were talking pre-show, I said, "Damn, I graduated high school in '87." I said, I'm old.
So there's two crazy things about my birthday. One, you could really deem it down as 666 in a way. Like I'm not the devil child for start, right? I like to think of myself as a good person, But the other story, like my grandpa, he used to serve in the Second World War with the British Army and stuff like that. He would, every birthday when I was a kid growing up, he would always talk about war stories during my birthday and stuff like that. Like always like, I remember like D-Day and stuff like that. He always talked about the history. So, and that's why I've got a lot of fun respect for veterans, especially back in the day, and just in veterans and just in general. So it just gives me because my grandpa, it gave me a bit more open perspective in terms of like appreciate what people have done for not just like for your own country, but just for society just in general. So I need to give a wee shout out to my grandpa, who's no longer with us, but he was great.
So you were born in Paisley, Scotland.
Paisley, yeah. So I had to put the wee pronunciation on because I know when I told some of my American friends when I sent them where I was born from, and like Paisley. Sorry, that sounded English. Sorry, but but they mispronounced it. So that's probably the easiest way to say it's like Paisley. So there you go.
So where is Paisley?
Paisley is about 10 miles outside of Glasgow. So it's right in the central part of Scotland. Paisley is just a small town area. But the town I live in, and I've lived in for my whole life, is a place called Barrhead, which is just like 5 minutes outside of Paisley.
Okay.
So but yeah, it's just a smallish town, busy enough, especially with traffic, but you get along going every type of day, you know, like you'll be small towns, you have your busy traffic coming in and out and going type of thing. It's kind of like that.
So how was it growing up there, man? When you were a kid, how was it?
Oh man, well, a bit weird. I'm not gonna lie. When I was in when I was in primary school, which is not kindergarten, but what's the one?
Primary school is I think middle school for us.
Middle school, yeah. So
yes.
when I was in middle school, I used to play soccer for the local team and stuff like that, and it was fine. When I hit to high school, I kind of went through a bit of a change. Like I just kind of not lost interest in sports, but I kind of like developed more in the music side of things, where I used to have long hair a long time ago. I used to look like Daniel Day-Lewis from Last of the Mohicans. I'll need to send you the picture because you wouldn't think that is not you. But as time has went past, all my hair up here has now went into my beard.
Right. Okay. So you were a music guy, huh? You turned into a music. So did you play any instruments or anything?
Yeah, I played guitar and bass. I tried to have a wee go at the drums during the whole COVID era, but I kind of lost it. It kind of fizzled out very quickly and ended up selling the drum kit very quickly. But I've always played guitar, mostly like kind of rock, metal. But I have been kind of diving more into the acoustics, like kind of like experimenting with country and stuff like that now.
So any family members were in music, or it was just something you gravitated to? You just did it.
It's just something I gravitated to. It's just with the people I hanged about with at the time. They were all kind of musically inclined, and I didn't want to kind of feel left out in that regard. So I kind of like followed the groove essentially, and that's kind of where I picked up like a lot of my influences from music and stuff like that, and kind of incorporate it into my creativity when it comes to graphic. Like it kind of opened up my mind, so to speak. If I can do it with music, then I can do it with other things. So, like in terms of doing graphics or video animation or anything like that. So, I like to think myself a bit of a creative person in general.
So, growing up there, man, you know, in America, it's like this. Like if you you were born in a small town, either everybody stays there or everybody leaves there. So, in that instance, is your family still in that area, or did everybody kind of like disperse that you went to school with and everything like that?
Everyone's still in the same town.
Everybody. So you can't go nowhere without knowing somebody, basically, huh?
Well, and besides my aunt, she moved to a town called Johnston, which is the east side of Paisley. We're on the south side of Paisley. And basically, my aunts lived there even before I was born. So she moved out a long time ago. But I've got my cousins and that who all live there, which is fine. But in terms of my family unit, in terms of my mom and dad, I have no brothers and sisters, but we've always remained like my other uncles, my grandma, my grandpa, etc. They always remained in Barhead. So.
Now, speaking of you being an only child, I know a lot of them. Okay, either they love being the only child or they hate being the only child. What was your thing? You grew up by yourself in the household, so did you love it or did you hate it?
I'm not gonna lie, I kind of hated it, if I'm being honest, because there was like. I can do like other brothers and like brothers could do type of thing. Like we could play video games together or something like that. Like there was, and I couldn't really kind of like burn off that energy to my mom and dad because they would think I'm an absolute nutcase or something like that, you know. So I kind of feel like missed out in a way. Like I don't have any brothers and sisters or anything like that. Like someone like close to my age I can relate to as we're growing up, and I can always back them up. They can always back me up. It was kind of a bit of a lone wolf in a way. But the reason that like I am a lonely child is pretty much I am a miracle child, really. Yeah. So like some of my mom and dad, they were like trying for so many years, and it wasn't until like just like by accident, like not by accident, but while they weren't expecting it, it just happened.
Right.
I think it was like after 15 years of marriage of trying to have a kid, I eventually did come along. So, so they like to think of me as a miracle child in a way, because my mom had given up at that point, thinking she was never going to be a mom and stuff like that.
Right. Yeah. So that explains it basically. So did you have any cousins or anything around? Because when I was growing up, you know, I got 4 brothers, right? We didn't meet each other. I didn't know anything about them until I was 19 years old. So I had nothing but sisters around. I had nothing but girls around me. It drove me crazy. Okay. So so I was the only brother guy, you know, nothing but girls around. And I was just like, man, I need a brother. Dude, Paul, a lot of people didn't know I played football against my brothers in high school and didn't know they were my brothers.
Oh my God.
So,
really?
Dude, we played ball against each other. Play ball. I played left tackle. My brother played defensive end from a rival high school. We played against each other, dude. Didn't know we were brothers.
What are the chances? What are the freaking chances?
So, but growing up, I had male cousins, right? And we were all within 6 to 8 months of each other in age. So we were really tight. So did you at least have cousins that you were tight with?
Absolutely. Yeah. So
Okay.
I've got 3 cousins who I'm very close to, which is Barry, David, and Ian. So David's the middle child. He is like me, basically. Ian's the youngest and Barry's the oldest. But the funny thing about my 3 cousins, they all support different soccer teams. Right?
right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Barry supports Glasgow Rangers. David supports Glasgow Celtic, and Ian thought, well, I'm not going to support what you two are going. I'm going to support the team far up north of Scotland and support Aberdeen. Like, he just wanted to be different. But every time I see my cousins, I just knew we were going to have a good time. Whether it's play video games or go to the park, play some football, kick a ball about, or whatever. We always had the best time whenever we hanged out, and even still to this day, like when I'm grown up, like because now my cousins are now my age and they've got family and kids and stuff like that. Wherever I go up and see them, it just feels nice to chill and hang out with them, and it's like it's really nice.
It's nothing like to have a family member that always got your back, or you can always feel comfortable with. You know, it's funny, man. Like I said, growing up, my cousins, man, we were so close. Now it's my brothers. and people are like, man, y'all act like y'all been knowing each other your whole lives. But we had similar stories, okay? We had similar interests, and then when people see us together, they're like, "We know you guys are brothers," but we all got the same father. We had different mothers, so
gotcha.
You know, and it's just that way. Like me and my brother Kim and my brother Corey. I mean, we're just close like that, man. And I'll never take it for granted anymore. You know?
The most important question you need to ask: are your brothers Cowboys fans also?
They are, but they're not like me.
Right,
okay?
Gotcha.
My brother Ken, he played ball, everything, played ball. You know, his interest just grew somewhere else. But you know, I got him back, and you know how I got him back? DJ Kai was having a cigar event with Kenny the Gant, this is Kenny the Shark Gant, right? So my brother
was that the one I was at?
No, this is the following year.
Okay? Oh, the following year.
The following year. So it was his birthday, and his wife was doing a surprise birthday, and she needed to get him out the house. So I had a perfect excuse. I said, man, come to this event, because he likes cigars. I said, come to this event, man. We're going to go to the cigar bar, hang out with a bunch of Cowboy fans. After he left, he said, I'm interested in football again. Just because of hanging out. He said, man, you guys had so much fun. Y'all had so much love with each other. And I was just like, man, that's what we do when we get together. We just want to have a good time. Yeah.
See, this is the one thing I love about, especially with American sports. Like when you hang out, like you might not know this person, but you instantly just grow a bond. And that's what happened. That's what happened to me. Even though it's not my brothers or sisters or anything like that, but back in London, 2014, Dallas versus Jacksonville. So obviously I know the guys from the UK Cowboys, but I never met the fan base coming from like California and Texas, etc.
Right.
So they all come over to London, and that's where I got to meet some of the best people I've known in my life, and I'm still best friends to them to this day. And that's where I'm going to spend time with them when I'm back over in November.
Right.
So it's just built on, and it's football just creates so many amazing friendships. It really does.
My brother Corey, he says, man, you're international. I said, what do you mean? He said, man, you got friends all over the world now just because of the Cowboys. And I say, yeah. I said, it's social media. Social media did it, you know, because if you guys wouldn't had y'all show that went on social media, I would have never met you. Okay, the can fan, if they show wasn't on YouTube, I would have never met them. You know, I've been to Canada. I've been in the dungeon where
I know. I'm so jealous, dude. Like, I would just love to crack one open with them, just in their den.
In their den, yeah, it's nothing like it. So, but you know that's what I love about it. So let's do this. Hey, man, you attended college at the University of West of Scotland. It's funny when you sent that to me, you said West of Scotland. Here it would be like the University of West Scotland. We would leave out the of, you know. Yeah. And I was like, that's pretty cool how they do that. So how was it? What did you major at West of Scotland?
It was computer science with web development. So that's what I like do now as my career type of thing. So it went from like programming web pages to doing graphic design, video editing, create some animations like interactive applications and stuff like that. So that's what I did that, and that was squad 17 years ago. Yeah, about 17 years ago, I graduated.
Man, so you know, I was like, when you told me what you actually did, it was bad. We've been knowing each other. What is it? It's going on 4 or 5 years going on now? About 5 years?
It would have been, so 2021 is where the first time I met you in person, but it was during 2020. So yeah, I would say about 3.5 years.
3.5 solid years. Yeah. I never knew what you did for a living, right? And then when you told me what you did, I was like, man, that's fascinating. I'm like, dude, you know, web design. First of all, I'm computer illiterate. I'm like, I can barely get on and hit the start live button, you know. But I guess because I'm an older guy, we didn't grow up with it, you know. When computers came along, that was really just a part of your life, man. I was in my 30s already. You know, like my grandkids, brother, they can get my cell phone and I think it's locked and it's open. They got it open and they're doing whatever I was just like, how did you do that? I said, I can barely get in my cell phone. So go ahead.
I was just going to say before I did computer and programming, that was not my first choice. I actually wanted to be a musician or music producer. That's what I wanted to be.
So what led you to the programming though?
It was something so back in the day, there was an internet cafe back in the day in my hometown, and I used to go there, and they had wee taster courses type of thing. There were free courses, and they kind of teach you how to do things and stuff like that. And I thought, you know what? I'm like 15, 16 years old. I'm going to see what it's all about. And I was really into my Formula One back then, the motor racing, right? Yeah. And one of my favorite drivers back then was Eddie Irvine from Northern Ireland. And I thought, I wonder if I could make like a tribute website or something like just something cool, like a gallery of images and a wee biography about him, stuff like that. And that's what really kicked off. The website looked absolutely horrible, but it gave me like, it's like I created that. Like, it's like, and people can actually access and see that from a global scale if they can like get into it type of thing. I thought, and it kind of like sparked my mind a bit. It's like, okay, at least I've got a good backup in terms of what I want to do as a career, but I've always kind of wanted to do music.
Okay. All right. So you got into that. That's your career now.
Yep.
And everything. Apparently, everything is going well. So whenever you got your degree in, it's funny. I tease people. I said, man, you go to college, you get a degree, and you work in something you didn't even get your degree in. That's common here in America. That's common here in America, though.
It's quite common here in the UK as well. Like I see the amount of people that do like what is it, forensic science, and they might not get the job and might actually end up going back to university and do something else type of thing.
Yeah.
And it's I think it's quite common. It's like they might want to do something, and once they've got their degree in that, it's just not for them anymore. They might just not have the desire for it anymore. Like you see a lot of people just kind of like, it's not what I hoped it would be up to be type of thing. You know?
Right. Okay. So I want to get into some football with you now. Okay.
Here we go.
All right. What made you get into American football? Not the Premier League. And how did you get into American football?
So it all started with rugby. All started with that. So I was at that point in my life, I was just experimenting with trying to find different things to kind of stimulate my brain, pretty much like from watching rugby or whatever and that. And obviously with rugby, it's religious here when it comes to international rugby, like following Scotland and the Six Nations, etc. You always support your nation. And with that, there was a kicker for the rugby team called Gavin Hastings.
Okay.
He went on to sign for the Scottish Claymores, which was the NFL Europe team.
Yeah.
So back in the 90s, there was the whole NFL Europe League. So there was the Scottish Claymores, London Monarchs, Barcelona Dragons, Rainfire, Frankfurt Galaxy, and there was one more, Amsterdam Admirals from Holland. And that was that was your league. And when I got into that, I was just hooked. I was so even though I was 10 or 11 years old at the time, just really but me trying to learn the rules. What does 4-from-1 mean? How is that an offside? And it's why are they in that formation? It's like how many points was a touchdown? I was asking myself all these questions, and the more I got to learn more about the game, I thought it felt like the real life version of human chess, but beating the crap out of Charlotte. It's so strategic. It really is. And I think that's the most beautiful thing about America with football. It's so strategic, based on your schemes, your opposition, your strengths, your weaknesses. It's so, even though it looks very brutal at times, especially if you're just running amongst the trenches, it can be brutal. But there's a beautiful science behind it.
Right. So when you got into it, you were hooked. NFL Europe. I miss NFL Europe. I really do. So you started learning it and everything. So when did you actually start playing American football?
Wasn't until I was 28.
You were 28 years old when you first played American football.
Yeah.
You actually put a helmet on.
Not
Not what we call here throw up tackle, where kids go in the park and they have a piece of cardboard and that's the end zone over here, that's the end zone over there. You try to run. so again, playing American football was actually by accident, because back then, so like I said, I transitioned into different things as a kid growing up. And even in my 20s, I was still trying to find other ways to stimulate myself. When I was in my 20s, I thought I'll make a dive into kickboxing. I was actually I did okay in that. Then I moved on to mixed martial arts. Then when one day during my training camp for my first upcoming MMA bout, I picked up an injury where I had to go to the hospital, and basically I couldn't compete in MMA anymore or fight. And I was so gutted. So I had to get an operation on my head. In fact, hold on, I'll show you the scar. So you can see the scar there. It's like a wee zigzag. Yeah. So that goes all the way around, to the other side. So that stopped me from playing, competing in the MMA. And that time I was like, man, I need to find something else I can do where it's not going to hinder my head or anything like that. Then when I spoke to my surgeon who operated on me, it's like, you ever thought about playing American football? There is a UK league here in Scotland, across the UK, and I've dealt with several patients
where they've had somewhat of head injury where whether they can still play and still feel like okay about it, because with the helmet, it's not putting that pressure on the actual cranium itself. It's more in the neck. If you make the wrong hit, it's not going to be like, you're not going to crack your skull or anything like that. So I was like, well, I've always been a fan of American football. I didn't realize we had anything like this available in the UK. So I did some research and I looked up like local teams nearby. There was the Glasgow Tigers, there was the East Kilbride Pirates, and there was teams in Edinburgh, the Edinburgh Wolves, and up north there was like the Dundee Hurricanes at the time and the Aberdeen Roughnecks. So the two closest teams to me were the Glasgow Tigers and the East Kilbride Pirates. And I was like, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it right. I want to get like who's more renowned to be like have a good set of coaches and stuff like that. So, and looking at the history of the teams, East Kilbride made much more perfect sense because they had a long history and they've been pretty successful across the UK. They've had former coaches from NFL Europe being part of the team as well. So if I'm going to learn anything, I'm going to learn it from them. So I went on. Originally, I wanted to play linebacker, but the depth chart was just too big. So, and I thought, me being like over 240 pounds at the time. So I will say though, we're not the tallest people in the world in Scotland, but for me being like 6'1", it's like, we'll put you in an offensive line. I was like, I never had no idea. Like, I just thought it was just blocking people. It's so much more to it. So much more to it. And it was
a lot more. It's a lot more to it. like hand placement, like pass protection, knowing your gap, essentially, who to block. Like if you're like coming back inside, or you're blocking on the outside, like all those type of things plays a vital role. And especially if you're like if you're pulling as well, it's like moving up to the second level. Like there was one particular play, we always named it after NFL teams. Okay. And one of the plays was called Arizona Cardinals. So if it was Arizona, then you're pulling from the left. It's Cardinals, so you're pulling from the right. So so first team's always from the left. Team names always coming from the right. So when they always mentioned Arizona, when I was like left tackle, that means I get to run up and actually take out a linebacker. I was like, oh yes, absolutely loved it. So I was coming like a bat at hell, moving up to the upfield, and but yeah, I really enjoyed that. Then I kind of went from there to left guard because they thought, and this was the quote. My coach said, "You're a bit too aggressive being on left tackle. I think you would be better on the inside for the run." And I was like, okay, cool. So I played left guard in my second year. Loved that. And then after my second season, the head coach is like, yeah, I think we might actually want you on defense now. I was like, finally, because that's the position I always wanted. I wanted to hit somebody. You want to hit somebody. I want to play defense. I want to be either defensive end or defensive tackle, and I got that opportunity in my final years. So it was great. So, but it just came out by occurrence because of my surgery, pretty much. Man, and you think, how the NFL is now by protecting head injuries and everything like that. You had a head injury and your surgeon said, go play American football. I was just like, okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of weird. Like, it wasn't like the type of operation where like any pressure on that. Like, if it was like a punch or something like that at the time, it would have been quite devastating. But if I had that protective realm on it, but it's not like when you take a hit in American football, you're feeling all the compression going down to your neck. It's not like it's like taking a punch or doing a tackle is completely different not biometrics, but different ways how the body moves and stuff like that. So it's very interesting when my doctor explained that to me, because I was very apprehensive. See, the first time I went on the football field, I'm not gonna lie, I was absolutely shitting myself. Absolutely shitting it.
It's nerve-wracking, yeah.
Absolutely. It's nerve-wracking. And I remember one game, and we were playing against Tamworth in my rookie season, right? And basically there was an interception that happened, and obviously you scramble whenever an interception happens. So I'm trying to kind of get in a position and try and block, try and make the tackle. This linebacker comes out of nowhere and takes me the right out. I'm when knocked round out of me, etc. I landed on the back like the whiplash, like hitting off the ground, and I thought, first thing I thought about was my head.
Right.
And I thought, am I concussed? No, I've seen it be all good. It's like I'm just winded. That was it. So after that, it's like I can do this.
Yeah,
it's fine. It's absolutely fine. I can do this.
Yeah. Hey, it's funny. You gotta excuse the language. Anybody in here that don't like language. So
sorry. Sorry.
My coach used to say this: you're not a true football player till you get your dick knocked in the dirt. What that means is like you just got when you got mollywopped, when you got laid out from the blind side, you don't see it. And I remember the first time it happened to me, I was in middle school, right? And my mom was in the stands. I'll never forget this. I got hit, and man, it just seemed like I turned a full circle. Man, this guy cleaned my clock, right? And I was more embarrassed that he did it than me being hurt from it. Because it's kind of like a flash knockdown, you know. Hey man, I got knocked down. I didn't even feel it. I was just out, you know. So I know what you're saying, bro. Because I remember the first time it happened to me, I couldn't breathe. I was like, wow, I couldn't catch my breath. I was just like,
I don't know about you, man. But there's one thing, like especially when I was playing in offense in the first 2 years, right? We went down to Sheffield. It was a really hot day. That one game, and there was this one defensive end just kept smack talking throughout the whole game. He's like, "Oh yeah, this is mine. This is money. This is money." Right. So we're on the 15-yard line. Run about there. We're in the red zone, and essentially we ran the play. I blocked the guy, and my mate Tam, we basically just double teamed the guy and actually just stuffed him right down to the ground. Right, and my friend Tam is lucky he never got flagged for that, because that it should have been flagged and should have been pulled back for on not as necessary, but it's like unsportsmanlike conduct. He went up to him and he's like, "There's your effing money." Like, I'm like, it's like Tam, shut the f up. You're gonna get flagged. We just scored the touchdown and we got pulled back. Hey, but luckily the referees didn't see that.
Hey, it doesn't matter where you play ball. It's always some trash talking somewhere. I told my wife, I said, I think that's what I miss about playing football more than anything: the trash talking and the brotherhood you got with your guys on your team. You know, because you're truly brother. I mean, because it's when they have videos talking about people going into battle and everything. I mean, because think about it. You are gladiators. You're going into battle against that other team, and you're just trying to kick their ass. And that's it. That's all, you know?
So the difference between, I don't know what it's like in the States, obviously, because I haven't never played ball in the States, but back here in the UK, you see right after the game, there's always like, we're always playing at a rugby club or something like that, and there's a bar. So we always end up maybe have one or two drinks with the team we've just played against, and just talk about other things, like as if we just for the good game. Yeah, you kicked our ass. Good handshake. Right. It was very respectful right after the game. But see, during the game, we were absolute assholes to each other. Oh man,
but it's here. Just I know in high school and college, because we do a lot of traveling when we play ball. Because I know in college, it's different because most colleges aren't even close to you. So after a game, you're literally on a bus or you're on a plane back to where you're from. You know, in high school it's different. We would meet up at an arcade or at the mall, or we actually may have grew up with the people we played against in high school. We probably went to church with them. Probably went to a secondary school with them some kind of way where we actually knew each other. My best friend growing up named William, me and William went to church together, man, since we were little bitty boys. We were born the same year. Our moms were best friends. We played ball against each other, you know, but you know, when after the game, hey, we're best of friends again. But you know, hey, we get to church and we're talking trash to each other. You know,
it's funny to mention. Mine, I was talking about my cousin. my cousin David, who's the Celtic fan. So when I was a kid playing soccer at the time, I used to be a goalkeeper. That was my position when I was a kid playing soccer.
Right.
So one day, I played for my local team, Barhead, and he played for his local team, which was Eldersley, just outside of Johnston. And they ended up getting a penalty kick. And essentially what happened was, who decided to take up the penalty kick? My cousin to go against me. I was like, you son of a... and the thing is, we don't have special goalposts to cater for kids. It's full size, adult size. So he just pegged it top corner, right? And I just stood there. I'm up. And he decided to kind of look at me that smart or not. Oh, I was mad. I'm still mad to this day. Like,
Paul, that was years ago.
I know. I love my cousin to pieces, but I'm still mad at him for when we were 10 years old. I'm still mad at him for that.
That's awesome. That's awesome. All right, man. We're gonna segue again. We're gonna get into the Cowboys. All right. We know how you start playing American football, how you got into American football. How in the hell did the Cowboys, of all teams, pique your interest where you became a Cowboy fan?
It all goes back to the Scottish Claymores. So if you look at the uniforms of the Scottish Claymores, they had the silver helmet, navy blue top, silver pants. And at first, back in the days where we used to get the NFL on late night television because of the time difference and stuff like that, I thought it was the Scottish Claymores were playing at first, but it was the Dallas Cowboys, and I was like, oh, okay, it really piqued my interest, and I was just like, oh man, and I saw the old Texas Stadium, I was just like this is so fascinating, and then I saw the cheerleaders and stuff like that, dancing, and I was just like, man, this is not the Claymores. This is far much better. What the hell? So that's what really piqued my interest. It's purely because of the uniforms that I misinterpreted, thought it was the Claymores essentially, and that was the link. So I thought it was one team, but it wasn't, and ever since then I just became a fan of and it's not because it was 1995. That's the last time they won the Super Bowl. It was nothing to do with that. It was just purely because of the color of their jerseys. Right? And I just thought, well, I'm going to stick with Dallas. There we go.
And there it is. It was simple. It was kind of like when people ask me, they know I'm from Texas, and they said, man, how are you a Michigan fan? Right? And I said, oh man, that was simple. I said, my uncle gave me a T-shirt. He brought all the kids home with T-shirts during the holidays, and mine had the helmet of the University of Michigan. I said, I was hooked. I mean, that's all I needed to see. I saw that, and it was over for me. And I'm like, Paul, I'm 55 years old. I was maybe 8. I've been a Michigan fan ever since.
I'll do you one better, my friend. Right? The amount of people here in Scotland, knowing that I'm a Celtic fan, which is green and white, they think, how on earth are you a Cowboys fan? They're blue and white, and they do sometimes have red in it. That means Rangers, which is if you want to know the history between Celtic and Rangers, it's all deep history. Really, it's religiously hate and stuff like that. Celtic are the Catholic side, Rangers are the Protestant side, and they mix politics and religion into sport. It's nasty. But the point is that because I support Celtic, who are green and white, and I support the Dallas Cowboys fans, they were so confused. Why are you not supporting of the Packers or the Philadelphia Eagles? I'm like, hell no. I was like, it's just because that's the reason. Just because that's the color. Even though that was my original reason, but it's because it was the Scottish Claymores, and I just kind of I just grew up, and also the fact that my mom grew up watching the TV show Dallas. That was the other reason I became a Cowboys fan. I grew up watching old JR and stuff like that on the TV show and stuff like that, and I've still got the ringtone on my phone of the Dallas theme song. So and obviously, like the more I kind of looked into the history of Dallas, like what happened in Dallas, like the JFK assassination, I just thought this is a place with a lot of history I can actually kind of like get invested in. So, and that's why I really like stuck with Dallas. But it was just the fact that back here home, people would think I would be an Eagles fan or a Packers fan or even a Jets fan because it's green and white. I'm like, no.
See, you just explained to me why there's so many Packer fans in the UK because of the colors. Yeah. I never knew that because I was listening to something and they were like, the Cowboys aren't the biggest fan club in the UK, and I was like, well, who is it? And they said the Packers, and I was like,
because of Ireland.
And I was thinking, why the Packers? And it's because of the colors. Wow.
Well, the other team that is massive, particularly in Ireland, is the Steelers because I think it's the owners.
The Rooney family.
Yeah, I think the Rooney family are descendants of Irish. So, and that's why you've got a lot of Irish fans becoming Steelers fans as well. So I think there's a bit of history there. But with Dallas, there's no segue, like there's no link between people from the UK to Dallas or anything like that. So there's no interlink in that way.
Wow. Okay. So now you guys started podcast. How did the UK Cowboys start? Because I know you guys from all different areas of the UK. How did you guys get together and start the podcast?
Well, it was originally just a fan group. Originally, I joined the fan group back in 2011. 2011. It was started by Jamie Smith, who you met, and also by Lauren Draper-Wood, who she's not part. She's now got a family. She can't like be part of it. Like she's not she still partakes in some extent, but she's not like a full-on like admin member or anything like that type of thing. But so Jamie and Lauren started the group, and it kind of grew from there. I joined in 2011, and I was just there as a contributing guy, just like adding comments to the posts, what do we think about the game. And they was talking about trying to do meetups for the games, the London games, etc. And when the Cowboys fans, when the Cowboys announced they were coming to London, that's when the big meetup happened. Went to London, get to meet Jamie and everybody in person, which was great. And ever since then, it just kind of grew up from there. The podcast started 6 years ago. What season are we on? Season 6? Yes, it would have been 6 years ago. And that was started by Mike. So Mike was brought into the admin team. He wanted to kind of bring a bit more engagement towards the group by doing the podcast, just to kind of get our the UK fans say what we think about the game, and just to build the interest level among the Cowboys and just football in general across the UK, which was great. So that kicked off, and ever since then we've just been evolving, because our original podcast was done through a Skype call, and that was it. And we would just record it and just upload it. That was it. Then obviously we found StreamYard, etc. And we've just been on that ever since. And we found other ways how to kind of like make the show more interesting. We've brought in advertisements to like voice readers to do the advertising rather than us reading it out all the time, so it sounds more professional and stuff like that. So we're adding more wee bits as we grow along and just kind of growing from our experience from it. So it's been growing really strong for about 6 years.
Right, man. Because hey, man, I loved it. I was like, I always wondered, how did you guys start doing it? And
it's all because of Mike. Mike started it.
Because of Mike. I love Mike too. I love him, dude.
I love him, but sometimes I do want to strangle him. Sometimes I tell you.
Well, that's everybody, man. Hey, believe me. Ask me who I want to strangle on my show. So hey, man. But hey, that's what make the show unique, because everybody has a different opinion on the Cowboys and what they think about the Cowboys. And I always thought, man, because we always say our show is more of a barbershop talk, because we could get in X's and O's. We can break down position after position after position. But to me, a more entertaining thing is to be more of a barbershop talk. Because on our side of the other pond, It's more of when you go into a barbershop, it's always sports talk going on, and it's always a debate going on, and we could just sit there and argue for hours, and then after the argument, hey man, love y'all, man, we'll see you later. We'll see you next week, and that's how ours started. Okay, so when I watch you guys show, it's different, but I love the difference. Okay, but most, and you've seen Jay Tuck's show, you've seen Law Nation's show.
Oh,
you've
yeah.
seen, man,
They're the goats. They're the goats.
Those guys are beasts, right? I was like, I don't have that much content. I don't have that that you can do that every damn day, every second of the day. But go ahead.
I was going to say, like J Tuck, he has been absolutely fantastic. See his, and like especially when it comes to the draft analysis and stuff like that, like doing scouting on certain players coming in for college, like the stuff I've learned about some of these players is all because of J Tuck. So I want to give a big shout out to him because he is just he's so on his game. He really is.
I had him on Conversation with Chris. I learned a lot, where you saw him in the intro and everything, man. But like, if I have any questions, like when we had Brock Hoffman on, I called Tuck. I said, man, look, I said, I got a Cowboy on, and I said, I want to do this right. I don't want to mess up a relationship with a current Cowboy. We could get former Cowboys on, but I thought it'd be very, very badass if you get a current Cowboy that's fighting for a roster spot. So I called Tuck, and Tuck say, Chris, be yourself, number one, and number two, make him feel comfortable.
Exactly.
If he's not comfortable, he's not going to open up to you guys, and he's going to be a one-word answer guy. When we did that, dude, the interview went crazy. I loved it, and I appreciate Tuck for that too.
Like we had that same experience when we interviewed Stephen Jones back, and there was the year we drafted CeeDee Lamb. We did a 24-hour live stream to raise money for charity for the nurses and doctors for our National Health Service. So when we had Stephen Jones on the show, like, we wanted to make sure that we were not going to press questions that were going to cause a reaction. We wanted to just kind of like make it very light and just kind of like how things are type of thing. And obviously, when is the Cowboys coming back to London? That was kind of the only pressing questions. As being the UK Cowboys fans, it's like that's like the question we would love to know. And obviously, he's like sooner rather than later. Hopefully, that which is it's like a nice like. It didn't really answer the question, but he did type of thing. So like, but it was a really great experience, like to actually, and I got to meet Stephen again in person back in 2018,
right?
When I was doing the documentary. I was in the sideline at the Houston Texans stadium, and that's where I first met him. And I reminded him of that. It's like, I don't know if you might remember me, Stephen, but I met you back at the Houston Texans game. I was wearing my cap. I was like, oh yeah, I was like, I'm sure you don't remember me, but it's like, no, I recognize the accent for sure. And I was like, right, cool. And that was my question. It's like, when do you think the Cowboys are going to come back to the UK? Because we're dying for it, because we had a taste of it. It's like we're pretty much coming over, spending over thousands and thousands of pounds and dollars coming over every year to see the Cowboys play. It's like, when can you guys come back over to see us? And it's like, hopefully sooner rather than later. So I was like, all right, okay, cool.
So that was a wonderful segue into my last thing. Okay, well, second to last thing. How in the hell did you get the Dallas Cowboys to do a documentary about you becoming a Cowboy fan and everything in Scotland? How did that come about?
This is a story and a half. Right? Right. So London 2014, right? So you know the podcast Hanging with the Boys with Shannon Gross?
Yes.
He's ended up one being one of my best friends. It really has, right? So we're in London. We have the big Cowboys meet up with players, former players. Brian Broaddus was there, etc. All in London in this bar in the middle of central London, right? And Shannon's there, and I was like, "How you doing?" And he's like, where you're from. I was like, I'm from Scotland. He's like, Cowboys fan from Scotland. And he's like, first thing he said to me was like, I bet I can drink you underneath the table. I'm like, challenge accepted, let's go. Right. So we start drinking, and next thing we know, we start doing Ric Flair's WWE moves, slapping our chests, right? So we ended up doing that, right? And this security guard comes, I say, what are you doing? And we're like, tested manhood. I don't know.
Right.
And after that, we had a laugh, and we tried to go to a strip club after it. We didn't get in because it was too late. But ever since then, Shannon's like, we exchanged numbers, we kept in contact. And when it was 2017, that was the first year I went to Dallas. And he was like, let me know when you're coming over. Like, you can come crash at my place. It's all cool. I was like, are you sure? He's like, yeah, man. So I stayed with Shannon for the good 2 weeks. I was there. No, was it 2 weeks? Yes, it was. It was 2 weeks I was there for. And had a great time. He showed me around the ropes around Dallas, took me on the Hanging with the Boys show originally. Got to meet Nate Newton, etc. And kind of tell my story on the podcast. And once I got back home, Shannon contacted me saying, listen, we've got something coming up here, and it's getting sponsored by the Bank of America. We want to do a documentary on you. I'm like, why the hell would you want to do a documentary on me? And I was like, well, from a selling point of view, is you're outside of America, you're a big Cowboys fan, and there's going to be that international appeal, especially to our sponsors. I was like, all right, cool. So what do you need me to do? It says, well, we'll send a film crew, come over to Scotland and film you on your everyday type of thing, what you're going to do, like go to your work, how you incorporate the Cowboys in your everyday life, like how do you incorporate that when you're coaching and playing football with the East Coast Pirates, etc. And when you are in Dallas, we'll just follow you about in the stadium, tell us how you're feeling, like how you're feeling about the game, like how you became a Cowboys fan, and we'll take you to some of the sites and stuff like that, like at the Star, etc. And I was like, all right, cool, I can get down with that. So I got got the free tour, got a discount on the tickets I had, etc. So it was all cool, and it was something. It was just unbelievable. But I am not gonna lie though, during that game against Jacksonville, I was so wasted. I was so wasted. Like, you can tell by the end of the documentary when I am slurring my words. It's like, I'll be a Cowboys fan no matter what. Like that was me at the end. Like, and and there was one clip in particular. Like, I'm walking up the stairs, going past the 50-yard line at the top tier of the stand, and I looked up, and there's Jerry Jones and Charlotte. I was like, me being me, I was like, Jerry, I'm all the way from Scotland. How you doing? Right? Like, just shouting at him, but I previously met Charlotte the year before, and she recognized me. She's like, "No, he's cool. He's cool. He's not a crazy person, right?" So Charlotte vouched for me that, and so I got to shake Jerry's hand. I was like, Jerry, I was like, thanks. Like, I've had a great time. Thanks for building the house you built. Blah blah blah. And then he came back and says, like, thanks for bringing that Scottish luck. So I was like, well, I wasn't too sure if it meant Irish luck, because that's the term, but I was like, I'll take it. So
yeah, you got to shake the man's hand and actually literally talk to him. So yeah, man, that's more than what most people do, you know.
To me, the most surreal moment was when I was at the Star, and I was just standing outside the gym. You've been to the Star, you've done the tour, right? So you know where the gymnasium part is, like it's all glass and stuff like that. So I'm just standing out there, like Shannon, who was walking with me, he was going to try and bring out Tyron Crawford and Antoine Woods, Byron Jones, and Leighton Vander Esch to come out and meet me. So I'm just standing there, just waiting patiently. Out comes the other room, is Ezekiel Elliott, right? And I was so starstruck, and I was like, hi. And he's like, hey man, how you doing? I was like, I'm all the way. I was just like, I'm all the way from Scotland. And he was like, huh? Really? I was like, yeah. So we ended up talking for a good 10 to 12 minutes, and I was telling him about, even though they might not be Cowboys fans, but they're big Zeke fans in the UK. And he was like, man, well, I need to make a trip over there. It's like, yes, you do. Yes, you do.
Right. 21 want to know, what time is it over there, right? And
it's It's 10 past 8.
Oh, 10 past 8. Okay. Oh yeah. So PM.
PM. Yeah.
Yeah. So man, that's awesome. Hey, guys, y'all need to check this documentary out. I think I watched it 3 times. I think I watched it. I remember when you sent me that link. Was it last year you sent it to me or a year before? I think it was the first year we started talking, and you sent me the link. And I was like, man, this is fascinating. How the hell did he get the Cowboys to do the documentary?
It's all because of my friend Shannon, all because of him.
I forgot to grab the link and put it, but hey, when we finish, I'll get the link and I'll make sure I put it in the bio and everything in the comments. So if anybody want to go back and actually watch Paul's documentary with the Cowboys. Now I know you got a limited amount of time, so I'll hurry, man, because I know you got a fantasy draft.
It's literally just started.
Oh, did it? Oh, okay. I'm sorry, brother. I'm
it's all good, man. It's all good. Like I can somewhat multitask, so it's all good.
Okay, all right. So you told me your all-time favorite Cowboy is Emmitt Smith.
Yes.
My all-time favorite. I actually got 2, but I'll narrow it down to one. Mine is Eric Williams. Okay.
Oh, good shout.
Big offensive lineman. I love nasty offensive linemen, and anybody that could dominate Reggie White will always be my all-time favorite. So how did Emmitt become your all-time favorite, brother?
Like, so when I was watching Channel 4, all the highlights and stuff like that, and you would just see these bursts of plays from the run game, and it was always Emmitt Smith, and I was just so fascinated how he would just be a dominant runner, taking on the blocks, just finishing, gaining every extra yard, and I was like, man, that guy's just got so much tenacity in his run game. And he's so elusive as well. So just from there, I just became a Emmitt Smith fan essentially. Just loved him, and I got to speak to him back in London as well. He was on the stage with Michael Irvin, and I got to ask him a question. It was about Zach Martin. It's actually on my Instagram. Sorry, give me one moment. I'm on my draft pick right now.
Go ahead. Make your pick. I'll vent. So 21. I believe you can find it on cowboys.com, but I will also get the link and put it in the comments in the link also.
The easiest way to find it is if you type in Dallas Cowboys Scotland in YouTube, it will be the first thing that pops up.
Okay, Dallas Cowboys Scotland. Yeah, watch that, man. It's pretty. And man, the photography on there, the cinematography on there was beautiful, man. When you guys were in Scotland, my God, dude, they did a good job on that, brother.
Oh, I'll tell you a story. The clip of me going up the hills, like the bends, the small mountains. They wanted me at the winter day to wear my kilt that day. I'm like, hell no, hell no. Like they sent me a transcript of what they were looking for. That's the only thing I said no to. I was like, I am not, no way I'm doing that. Like I don't want frostbite in my privates, no chance.
A winter day in Scotland, and they want you to wear a kilt.
It can be like a frozen tundra, not as bad as what Canada can be, but it's that different type of cold. Like it just catches off by surprise.
Yeah, because I've seen clips of weather in Scotland and in the UK. Yeah, it could get a little gnarly, rainy and cold all the time, and it's a lot different. Even though I'm in Denver now, but it's a lot different in Scotland than or in Texas than when you're in Canada or up north, New York, Wisconsin. Those places, because America is a big place. And hey, when you grew up in Texas, it get cold, but it don't get, like it is up north. So, man, we're gonna end our show on my greatest. I love this. I love this because I think I find out more about my guests when I do either or than any of the other questions, because it's a mix of football, personal, and you got to choose one. So, if you're ready, we'll do a hot 20 questions on either or, and I just want to make sure you made your pick. Did you make your pick yet?
Oh yeah, I've made my pick. I'm now in the second. I'm on the second round. I was left with Garrett Wilson from the Jets.
You went with Garrett Wilson with the well. You can't go wrong with Garrett, So you can't go wrong. All right, brother. My first question, man. 1st and 10 or 4th and inches?
In terms of what's the context behind it, so just
it's an either or. Is
4th and inches.
4th and inches. Man to man or zone?
Man to man.
Pass or run?
As a defensive guy, pass.
Next one is offense or defense?
Defense.
Cheer for or be cheered?
Oh. Cheer for or be cheered? Cheer for.
16-1 or championship?
Championship.
Ring or Hall of Fame?
Ring.
Play the game or coach the game?
Both.
Yeah, we didn't get into that. Yeah, you do some coaching too.
Yeah, I used to coach the women's team.
Yeah. All right. So mountains or beach?
Beach.
Truck or car?
Truck.
Grass or turf?
Grass.
Indoors or outdoors?
Indoors.
Movie or TV?
Oh. Historically, I'm a movie guy, but I'm more into TV now.
Okay. Beef or chicken?
Oh, beef. That was a stone waller.
Tecmo Bowl or Madden?
Techno Bowl.
Awesome. I love that. I love when people say Tecmo Bowl. I love it. DeMarco Murray or Zeke?
Or Zeke.
Tom Landry or Jimmy Johnson?
I'm gonna have to go with Jimmy, to be honest.
Troy Aikman or Tony Romo?
If Tony Romo was playing in that same era, I think he would win the exact same. So I'm gonna go with Tony.
Hey man, I was every time I asked this question, I was like, I still don't know which one I picked, but I think I would go with Aikman just because of the Super Bowls. But
the way I think about it, if Aikman was playing with the same team that Romo had, and Tony Romo was playing with the team that Aikman had,
the same results. Yeah,
it'd be the same results.
Yeah, I do too. Because I always tell people Tony Romo never had a freaking defense. I don't care what nobody says. Troy Aikman had an all-world defense when the Cowboys was winning those Super Bowls, man. Last two questions. I hope I'm pronouncing their names right. Dundee FC or Aberdeen FC?
Oh, none of them.
Which one is yours?
If I have to pick one, it would be Dundee.
Okay. Well,
where the hell did you get that from?
Hey, man, I got to do research. On Scotland, bro.
I was not expecting that. Wow.
And my last and final question for every guest on either or on Conversation with Chris: Whataburger or In-N-Out?
Whataburger.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. I tell her, I said, man, you can't be a Cowboy fan eating In-N-Out. You can't do it. Whataburger is a staple. Well, look, brother. Hey, man, we're come to the end of our show. You got any final thoughts? I want you to pub your show, pub where they can find you, everything, man. Also, pub where we can find the documentary also.
Yeah. So you can follow me at IMPstew on Instagram and Twitter, but obviously we're the Wolves Team Podcast. So the whole point of the Wolves Team Podcast is we want to bring Cowboys fans from all parts of the world to kind of like get involved. share information saying, I'm planning to run to this game. We can actually help you get networking and stuff like that as well. So that's the whole idea of the World's Team podcast. Is like we want it because we've managed to meet up with the Germany Cowboys fans. Some guy, I'm actually going to be doing a show with the Italian Cowboys fans tomorrow.
Awesome.
So that's the whole point. Like we want to kind of like just talk football, and just bring the network even to a more larger scale. So it's like what we always say in the World's Team. It's not just America's team; it's the World's Team.
Awesome. Well, look, brother, man, it's been a pleasure. I've had a ball, man. This hour and 20 minutes went fast.
I know. Honestly, man, I've got more stories to tell. Especially when you going to be in town for the Houston Texans game?
I believe so.
We're definitely hooking up, dude. We're definitely hooking up.
Yeah, because I'm in Denver right now, but in 30 days we'll be moving to San Francisco.
Oh no.
I know, but I'm excited about this. The reason why, because at least I get to argue every day with a Niner fan. I'm excited about that.
I would be scared of the taxes, to be fair.
Hey man, it is what it is. It don't matter where you live in America. You gonna get hit with them.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Hey man, when my wife got these promotions and everything, it was just a opportunity to move around the country. I mean, because it's just me and her. Our kids are grown. We got grandkids, and we're just exploring different parts of America right now. So
yeah.
And that's the fun part. So say if you go into the Cowboy Niner game, I'll be there. So you'll have a place to stay.
I'll definitely hit me up, man. But in fairness, though, if I'm going to California, I may have to remortgage my house.
Exactly. That's why I say I give you a place to stay. You don't have to worry about nowhere.
I'm still trying to move over, though. I'm still trying to move to Texas. I'm still trying to do that.
Okay, man, that'll be exciting. So, hey, it's going to be fun. Man, Paul Stewart from UK Cowboys World Team, man. Thanks again, brother. And, man, as we always say, Dallas Cowboys for life.
Yes.
We'll see y'all next time.